students. How's everybody? This is Dr. Osama Kashwa, and I will talk now about the culture and the Hofsted model of culture, which is very important for everybody to know it because it's having 5 dimensions, and we will talk about handle the 5 dimensions. And I want you to check for any place or any organization to apply the 5 dimensions on, or 5 nations, and apply the 5 dimensions on them. So let's go for sharing first the screen. And I will actually work on the websites today, for giving me like, because there are a lot of websites is full about Hofstad's model. Here is the Hofstad model like you see here. And Hofstad model like you see consists of 5 dimensions. What are the 5 dimensions? The first dimension is called power distance. Power distance. So what is the power distance? How far are you the formal relationships in working organizations? The relationship between the boss and the employee, the relationship between them. This is power distance. Is this relationship based upon? Is it based upon kind of formality and the rules and the structure and the orders, or is it based upon the friendship and working like a spirit of group and working like a father and son, or brother and brother and brother and sister? What is the kind of the relationship between uh, the people who are working in one organizations? Are they working only based on the rules, or they put social interactions into the consideration, and they put kind of a spirit of the group and teamwork, and they love each other, and they don't use only the rules, but beside the rules they also use the friendship, the good relations. So this is called power distance. Power distance reflects the degree to which hierarchy and unequal distribution of power are accepted. A high power distance score implies a prevailing acceptance of a large status differences between superior and subordinates. See this? If it is high power distance, that means the relationship between the boss and the employees are based on orders, only on orders. Okay, and is very formal, and he used the carrot and stick. If you do something good, there is a reward or carrot. If you do something bad, or you breach the work, then there is a stick for the punishment. This is what we call the power distance. The higher the power distance, the more the formality and the structure and the hierarchy in the organization. Okay, managers tend to be autocratic and see autocratic, and while employees tend to do as they are told. So this is when there's a high power distance. And we can see also, based on the countries of the world, which countries will be, what is your country's nature towards the power distance? Is it high power distance or low power distance? That's what I want you to know. Okay. Second thing is uncertainty avoidance. We have 5 dimensions, like we said, for Hofstede model: power distance, uncertainty avoidance, masculinity and femininity, time orientation, and individualism or pluralism. So we'll see now the second one, which is uncertainty avoidance. Uncertainty avoidance reflects the degree of comfort with ambitious situations. How far I am very happy with something is not very clear to me. Something is not clear, but what's my reaction? Will I like it if it is not clear? To what degree I will like it or I dislike it? Okay. And the extent to which efforts have been made to minimize or avoid these situations. Okay. Managers in the high uncertainty avoidance cultures tend to depend extensively on systematic rules and regulations. So when you are high uncertainty avoidance, you are just walking beside the wall. You don't want to go like east or west. You are having a straight line. You don't want to try anything new. You just don't want to try any more experiences. You just try to be very, very, very classical and very traditional. This is if you are high uncertainty avoidance. because you avoid the risk. You here avoid the risk. So you want to be like, okay, what I know is better than what I don't know. So don't if you get a new idea while you are working, then the employees came and give you an idea to improve the productivity or something. Say, no, what I know before this, what I know is the productivity is such like the way I came and I found it and how are working. I don't want any changes. I don't want any. So in that case, you are uncertainty avoidance. You want everything to keep the same. Okay. If I tell you that you have two ways to go home, one way which is very dark and you didn't try it before, dark and it's very like all digs in the roads so that your car will move will not move so easy or softly, but you will save about 10 minutes to go home. The other way is lighting and the one which you know every day and vast and very good and spacious and everything, but you take half an hour to go home. Then you will say, no, half an hour to go home, which I knew, is better than the 10 minutes to go home, which I do not know. And I don't know what will happen to me there. So in that case, you are uncertainty avoidance because you don't like to try something new. Okay. Though there is expressions in the whole universe, they say no venture, no gains. The ventures here is like the risk or uncertainty. So if you go towards the risk, you will gain, you will have profits, you will do whatever. But the people's nature is against the change and always in resistance of change. For that reason, we like to be uncertainty avoidance. Everybody of us, but it differs from a country to another country and from people to another people. There are people who like to be risky, so they don't be uncertainty avoidance, and there are people who don't like to be risky, so they are uncertainty avoidance. Masculinity means to which degree? Okay, uh, masculinity MAS reflects the degree to which tough and assertive behavior is encouraged. Conversely, femininity means encourages tender and nurturing behavior. The belief in equity rather than equality and the importance of material success to be grouped both tend to be related to MS or the masculinity score. So, in this point here, the masculinity is means, and it goes also to the society's preferences, like as example, preferences, like as example, societies like prefer to put men number one and women number two, or there are no equality between men and women. And we find this in a lot of places in the whole world. Men comes first, then after that, second come women. And we see this even in the behavior of some companies. When they hire, they like to hire women, men only. And other countries, they like to hire women only. And see the difference between treating the woman, in some countries, they treat the woman not equal as men. In Canada, as example, men and women are equal, the same, treated equally. Okay. And also, when you are working with a passion, then you are femininity oriented. When you work only with the rules and strict and this and that, and you don't look for a passion when you are working, then it's a kind of masculinity. So masculinity means tough and stiff, and femininity means a passion and a smooth way to deal with the subjects and with the matters. And at the same time, it goes to men vs women. Sometimes they call this criteria men vs women, means which you prefer. Are both of them equal in the society? Because we are talking about the cultures, the five dimensions of Hofsted in any society. So it differs from China to Egypt to the United States to Canada to Britain. Every country is having how they treat, how they deal in this situation. Men vs women. What is the relationship? They favor men than women. As example, if you are a manager and a man came to you to work, a candidate and a candidate woman, and you have to choose one of them. Will you choose the men because you say the men will be more active and more effective in work than women? Or will you choose the woman and say, I will hire the woman because she's passionate and she can do the work effectively than men? Or it doesn't matter for you, men or a woman, you might hire the best in the qualification. That's what you care about. So this is the third dimension of Hofsted model. The fourth dimension of Hofstede model is time orientation. Time orientation. What do you mean by time orientation? The dimension reflects the degree to which short-term plans is accepted in returns for long-term gains. Also, when we talk about how far you are looking, are you looking down your feet only? Okay, or are you looking for the long run? Are you trying to sacrifice for today's in sake of a better tomorrow? Like you save money for the future? Or are you spending just whatever you get and you say, oh, it's okay, we don't know tomorrow how it will be like. So this time orientation. Okay. Societies with a short term orientation will be more likely to seek out immediate gratification than those with a long term orientation, but they are less likely to plan or invest for the future. See, the short time orientation, I'm just looking for just a little bit, but I'm not looking very far for the far future. No, I'm just looking behind, down beneath my feet, here in front of me, only one step ahead. This is the short time orientation. And those some countries like this, they don't plan for a long run, they just plan for a short run. Just how I will feed my population, how I will get them the shelter and the accommodations and this and that. So all these are the concern of the governors of those countries. Okay. But other countries, no, they might be looking like a space program. The space program is looking forward for about 50 years in advance. Like when you see China as example, when China, the vision of China in 2040, on 2050, that means a long time orientation. So it's based on the country itself about, and also whoever comes from, take, I just want you to take a point or note of this point. If we are working in multinational company, and we have people who are long time oriented and short time oriented, some people from short time oriented countries and people from long time oriented companies, how will you try as a manager or as a boss? How will you deal with these different cultures? What will be your attitude? A long time orientation or short time orientation? How you will look for the problem of masculinity and femininity? Because this is a question, it's a very important question, especially it's very important also regarding the multinational companies where people from different ethnics and different groups and different backgrounds are all working in one place. So this is another point. This about the time orientation. The last thing, or the dimension number five, we said the dimension number one, power distance, number two, uncertainty avoidance, masculinity number three, and time orientation number four, and finally, the individualism. Individualism means how you like yourself only and how you like to live in isolation than the others. And the pluralism is the opposite, that you as a human, you like to live in a big group, like a big family or something. We see the eastern sides also of the whole world are very pluralism. They like to live in groups, they like to live in big families. Look at China, look at India, look at Egypt, look at Korea. uh, those societies are tending to be more pluralism, but the West tend to be more individualism. Individualism means it's a kind of behave like I like to be by myself only. I don't like bothering. I don't like, so this is the individualism reflects a degree to which personal independence is valued over group membership. A society scoring high individualism values personal goals, initiative, autonomies, and privacy. Conversely, collectivism or pluralism, low individual. The pluralism or collectivism is a low individual. Societies value group goals and objectives over individual preferences. So Once prefer himself only to talk about himself, I, me, like that way. So this individualism, and the other we are, we. So this is the pluralism. The importance of harmony and consensus tends to encourage collective responsibilities and group decision making while discouraging dissent and innovation. So we had now the five dimensions of Hofsted. And I just want you to apply this. Choose any society in the East and the West. Search the web or just imagine how they are regarding those five dimensions. Let's say the United States, how they are in the power distance, or the relationship, friendship between the boss and his employee, or it's based on the structure. How about the uncertainty avoidance for the Western countries? How it is they like to avoid risk, or they are risky, they like to take the risk. Masculinity, what they look like, prefer men than women in work environment, or the opposite, or both are equals. Time orientation, are they are long term orientation, which means that they like to look forward for a long time, for planning for 50 years in advance, or they just looking under their feet just for the needs of today, and that's it. Individualism. So when you see the Western societies, are they are more individualism or more collectivism or pluralism? So and apply this on Korea, China, Mexico, Japan, India, Egypt. You can apply it the dimensions of Hofstede model in many in each country, because each country, those are the dimensions of the culture in each single country, and they differ. I just want you to know that they differ from a country to another one. They differ from a country to another one. Um, like we say also likewise. I have here like some also. Actually, this is it's very rich with the with which we have also. Like here as example, this one is very nice because it show me the dimensions based on the geographical aspects. So this makes it easy for you when you answer on quizzes or in exams. If I ask you this question, based on the societies itself. So yeah, so it's based on the type of the societies and the work of each society. It's like a geography on each part of the whole world. It works for each part of the world. So like here as example, here Hofstede culture dimensions is very important. This model, please go for it, and you have the link up here. The big power distance, like you see the east, he divided to the east and the west. So in the east, the big power distance, collectivism, femininity, low uncertainty avoidance, short-term orientation, there are restraints. But here on the west, small power distance mean the relationship is a friendly relationship, but in the east, the relationship between a boss and the employees is based on the rules and structures. Here in the West, in the East, sorry, in the East, collectivism means they like to live in big groups, big families. They like to work together, but individualism by my side, by my own. Here I am dependence. Here I am independent. In the East, femininity. In the West, masculinity. And this is example of this. Okay. Here they don't like the certainty. They are uncertainty, low uncertainty avoidance. Low uncertainty avoidance means high risky, but high uncertainty avoidance means low risky. Okay. The short-term orientation here, they are only for the planning for the short run, but here in the West, they plan the West, like North Americas, and they are planning for a long term. There here, the restraints here, indulgence. So those are based on the site is based on East and West. So you can also say like each country, which country, and you will apply as example. The East here is China, India, Australia, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Old Korea, China, Philippines, all those countries, the Arab countries like Saudi Arabia, whatever, and all this area, Iran, parts of Russia. So all will apply this partner, but on the West, you will apply the other extreme. So this can help you when you answer and it's tell you as example, choose a country and talk about the culture of this country and talk about the 5 dimensions of Hofsted model. How will you apply it? Then you can. This will help you so much. This model will help you so much. Till then, thank you so much, and I wish you a very good night. And we know now what's the meaning of Hofsted, how we will benefit from Hofstede. We will benefit from Hofstede if I'm working in a multinational, international company, or if I'm working in overseas companies, where all, or if I'm working in a country like Canada or the States or whatever, where there are a lot of people with different backgrounds, having different cultures, dimensions, are working all together in one place. What I will do in such a case when I have different ethnics, different backgrounds, different different cultures based on the Hofstede model, how I will react, how I can come to unify all the efforts. This is a very very big job and very tough job for any manager or let's say leader. It's very hard for him to make a combination and coordinate all those. Sometimes we don't say conflict cultures, it's not conflict, but at least it's different cultures. How I will make a coordination and harmonize the efforts of all these cultures all together to help the organization to grow and the company to grow more and be more effective and be more productivity. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for having this time with me. And thank you so much. Have a good night. Bye bye.